Some girls grow up fantasizing about looking and acting like someone else.
She was slim, she was beautiful, she was a dancer.
But what if it becomes a reality? In Melbourne, Australia, during the 1990s, 19-year-old Caroline Reed Robertson is suffering from low self-esteem. Although teenage angst isn't uncommon, for Caroline, it proves a huge burden.
She had been sad and lonely and miserable most of her life.
What are you looking at those for?
At times, she wishes she had never been born.
Why didn't you just abort me? Caroline? What is wrong with you?
It seems that she really hated herself, everything about herself.
She described herself as being ugly and fat and a misfit, and hated and lonely, no friends.
Deeply unhappy, Caroline fills diaries with self-loathing.
It's not unusual for teenage girls to doodle, to make lists about themselves, what they want in life. But they usually grow out of it by the time they're 14, 15. That didn't happen for Carolyn. She was making lists when she was 20. Everything with Carolyn went to the extreme.
But life takes a fresh turn when the Barber family moves in next door. 3 daughters, all with artistic pursuits. Caroline gets to babysit the talented children.
Just call me on this number if you need anything, okay?
Yeah, sure, thanks.
All right, I'll be back at 5, okay?
Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye, Mum.
To an outsider like Caroline, this loving, creative, beautiful family was, to all intents and purposes, the perfect family.
Did you want to give it a go? Come on. All right.
Caroline takes a special interest in 13-year-old promising ballet dancer, Rachel.
She became, for some strange reason, obsessed with Rachel.
That's it. That's really good. So now you pop your left one just over there. Good.
Can you be my best friend?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, all right.
As if they were best friends, but they weren't. She was simply Rachel's babysitter.
We'll do it another time. All right.
In Caroline's eyes, Rachel is perfection.
What was that one where you balanced on one foot?
In 1997, Caroline asked to take some photographs of Rachel, allegedly for a school project that she was doing.
It wasn't a school assignment. It was about Caroline feeding her obsession about Rachel. She was quite mesmerized by her and really had her up on a pedestal. Rachel could do nothing wrong and be nothing wrong.
In contrast, Caroline's old friends have always teased her.
I heard you wanted to be a singer or a dancer or something. Oh. Maybe you can sing for us. Yeah.
I can show you a dance move.
Yeah, do that.
About her desire to be a dancer, like Rachel.
She seemed to have been the object of amusement of her friends, so that when she would make a suggestion, I want to be an actress or a dancer or something, that would be met with laughter and derision, which made her even more unhappy and lonely.
Caroline wants to leave her old world and live in a new one. Rachel's world.
She was, in a nutshell, everything that Caroline wished that she was herself.
She certainly became fixated on Rachel, and at some point of time, interest became something more than that. Most of her waking hours were devoted to thinking about Rachel.
For 2 years, Caroline's fixation grows.
One thing that Caroline did was apply for Rachel's birth certificate, a thing that's usually done if you plan to assume someone's identity.
She doesn't just want to be like Rachel. Caroline plans to be Rachel.
She really wanted to morph into Rachel. She wanted a do-over.
Melbourne, Australia, 1999. 21-year-old Caroline Reed Robertson is obsessed with a young friend. 15-year-old Rachel Barber.
Caroline saw in Rachel things that she didn't have herself and wanted. Some would call that a fixation. I call it jealousy.
Caroline wants a new life. Rachel's. In her mind, taking it is the only way to achieve her goals.
It was an attempt to turn fantasy into reality.
Her plan is simple. As a trusted family friend, Caroline has no trouble coercing the teenager
Hello?
into a trap.
Rachel, it's Caroline.
Hi, Caroline.
The ruse was going to be used that she had obtained some job for her which was going to pay her a fair bit of money, which for a young girl of 15 was very attractive.
The pay is really good.
Really? Yeah, that sounds great.
Caroline asks her to keep it a secret from her parents
Come to my place tomorrow night.
Well, I'll come up to dance.
and invites Rachel to her apartment
Okay, thanks.
to meet her new employer.
Thank you, bye.
I've got no doubt at all that Rachel had no idea what was coming.
On March 1st, the stage is set. At school, Rachel is excited.
Rachel was boasting to a couple of her friends at dance class
You know those shoes I've been looking at?
Yeah, the $100 ones.
You can get one for them.
How?
that she had scored some kind of opportunity to make a lot of money.
What kind of job?
I can't talk about it, I'm sorry.
Why not?
Don't worry, I'll tell you later.
Rachel makes her way to what she thinks is a golden opportunity.
She was a sensible, grown-up 15-year-old. Her parents allowed her to travel on trains. They trusted her to be responsible, to be sensible, and in turn, she was exactly that sort of person.
But Caroline's house is the most dangerous place Rachel can be.
Went back to the apartment. We know that Caroline bought some food, some pizza. A friend, a trusted person, an older person, inviting her to something fairly innocuous.
Caroline methodically follows her plan.
That's how long Caroline tightened the cord on Rachel's neck.
Caroline wants to be born again as the new Rachel. But it's a plan that was never going to work.
The most shocking part of the crime surrounds its utter futility. The notion that she could assume a new identity after carrying out such a murder is ludicrous.
There was no way that Caroline was ever going to look like Rachel.
By removing the life force from Rachel, Caroline can't keep it for herself. It's gone.
There's obviously some little glitch in Caroline's mind that just didn't think logic of it through to its natural ending.
The only transformation is that Caroline is now a killer.
Caroline bundled her body into a wardrobe, still with the cable around her neck, and left her there for 2 days. At some time, Caroline wrapped Rachel's body in some blankets from her own flat, bundled them into a vehicle, and drove them to her father's property, where she buried Rachel in a shallow grave.
But her secret doesn't last very long. Caroline is the last person seen with Rachel and is top of the police's interview list. She is surprisingly frank.
Caroline admitted to what she had done and told police where she had buried the body.
Caroline Reed Robertson is convicted of murder on November 29th, 2000.
She received a sentence of 20 years in jail. The judge ordered that she serve a minimum of 14 and a half years before being eligible to be considered for parole.
With time already spent in custody, Caroline is up for parole in late 2013. Some believe the murder was an act of insanity, but the court doesn't agree.
Well, the plea of guilty is an acknowledgement of not only the act of killing, but it's also that you possess the necessary mental element, that is an intention to kill.
For others, it was a simple human failing.
Some psychiatrists would look at this murder and say that Caroline was overwhelmed by a deep-seated need to shed her own skin and become someone else. I say she was motivated out of jealousy, pure and simple.
In prison, Caroline gets another life, but nothing like the one she so desperately admired. Rachel is gone forever, taken from her devastated family.
The whole event just seems so pointless and sad from everybody's perspective. Rachel is dead. Caroline's life has been ruined. One doesn't know what the future will hold for her when and if she comes out of jail. It's just an all-round tragedy.
In 1995, 19-year-old Gina Grant is accepted to Harvard, the most prestigious university in the United States.
Gina Grant, cheerleader, first female president of her class. Brilliant.
It's an outstanding achievement and fulfills a promise to her dad.
See, Dad, you knew I could do it.
Her journey to Harvard begins in Lexington, South Carolina.
I'm playing Hermione. I already know her lines. What a dream is here.
Dad Charles has grand plans for his precocious princess.
You'll study at Harvard. It's the best, and you're the best.
Gina was a very popular young girl. She was very likable, extremely intelligent, very, very bright.
But Dad won't see his daughter's achievements. He dies of cancer before Gina's 12th birthday. The loss of her husband is too much for Gina's mom, Dot.
When her father died of cancer, it seemed to throw the family into a downward spiral. She had a good job. She seemed to be a normal type of person. But when she went home, people said she drank, and she drank a lot.
She had a lot of problems after his death. Emotionally, physically, it worked on her a great deal.
Gina isn't old enough to understand or help Mom.
Turn that down!
It's not my fault you got a hangover.
But she throws herself into being the best at everything.
She was athletic. I think she played basketball, played tennis on the cheerleading squad.
Oh my Lord, did you see Sally?
Yeah, I know. What a joke.
Then Gina meets someone who changes her life forever. 15-year-old Jack Hook is hardly Ivy League.
Ready to go when you are.
Jack was not a person that you'd want your daughter dating.
Troublemaker, petty thief. Not the ideal couple.
Gina takes Jack home to meet Mom.
Mom, this is Jack.
I think she chose this boy to upset her mother, the bad boy.
There was a difficult relationship there between Gina and her mother over the relationship with her boyfriend, Jack.
He's bad news.
I like him.
Well, you better start to unlike him.
Probably Gina's mother was right. She shouldn't have been with Jack.
But Gina's determined to see Jack and sneaks out whenever she can.
Where have you been? Why do you care?
Gina even gets more brazen, sneaking Jack into the family home.
She'd take her dog outside for a walk. And depending on what she said, Jack would know if the coast was clear or not for him to come into the house.
And this set the mother off. She didn't like that. And she tried to stop it. She tried to terminate it, put an end to it, see that it never happened again.
We're talking about a 14-year-old girl here, sneaking a boy in to spend the night. Of course Gina's mom would be upset by that. Wouldn't anybody be?
I think that boy became more important to her than anything. And that meant Mom might have to go.
1990, in Lexington, South Carolina. 14-year-old Gina Grant is in a standoff with her mom over her delinquent boyfriend. And her mom's taste for alcohol fuels Gina's antagonism.
I think her mom's behavior might have even embarrassed her.
September 13th, 1990. By nightfall, Dot is already drunk, and her focus is fuzzy. She's a sitting duck for a daughter hell-bent on death.
People don't die quickly. They will put up a struggle. The human body tries valiantly to stay alive. You get bloody. You feel the victim.
Gina's mother was beaten in the back of the head, in the front of the head, all over her arms as she was trying to defend herself.
The fact that there were 13 blows tells us the killer was venting her rage on her mother. Once she started striking her, she couldn't stop.
She could have been pounding rocks, but it was her mother's head.
The straight-A student doesn't flee or hide the body. She has a plan and calls boyfriend Jack to help.
And what's her plan here? Well, that her mother committed suicide.
Gina convinces Jack to thrust a knife into her dead mom's neck.
So much so that you can't pull that knife out of the neck without lifting the lady's body off the floor.
After Jack leaves, Gina calls the police and tries to sell her story of a tragic suicide.
I don't know what happened. She was just acting crazy, and then she had this knife in her hand.
And there she is on the floor with this knife in her neck and with a hand around the handle of the knife, as if someone wanted the officers to think that this woman had plunged that knife into her own neck. That's totally implausible.
The injuries Dot sustained could not have been caused by falling down a carpeted stairs. Basically, the crime scene didn't fit Gina's story.
But Gina thinks she's smarter than the police.
And she is toe-to-toe, nose-to-nose with these officers.
She fell down these stairs, and then...
She's not giving in. She's an intelligent young woman. She's a conniving young woman. She's a devious young woman.
When the evidence contradicts her, Gina just changes her story.
Oh yeah, she says. Let me tell you how it actually happened. And that is the telltale sign of what? A liar.
Gina then tries to blame boyfriend, Jack. But all the evidence points to a daughter brutally taking her mom's life.
Finally, the officers say, "You're not going home tonight. You're going to stay here in jail because we're charging you with murder."
It's then Gina introduces a new defense. She claims mom's abusive.
The strange thing is, Gina didn't share this information with anybody. So she was either keeping it all in or making it all up.
I don't recall anything in our investigation that indicated any violence or abusive behavior by either one of the two.
Gina Grant and Jack Hook appear before the family court in South Carolina. Jack pleads no contest to accessory after the fact to voluntary manslaughter and spends less than a year in juvenile detention. Gina pleads no contest to voluntary manslaughter. Her time behind bars to be decided by the State Juvenile Parole Board.
An indeterminate sentence to the juvenile prison, not to exceed your 21st birthday.
But just months after being locked up, Gina is out. A judge accepts her family's pleas that she would be better off attending a special school for troubled teens in Boston, close to family support.
They were down in South Carolina saying, we will help, we will help, we will help. Once they get to Massachusetts, within 6 weeks, they don't want anything to do with Gina Grant. And they wash the hands of them. The system up there doesn't do anything, and she's out living on her own. Not serving a sentence, but living on her own.
Gina spends less than a year in custody for killing her mom.
Gina beat the system. Gina manipulated the system. The system failed in this case.
You gotta ask yourself, what is a human life worth when all you serve is months in jail for it?
Four years later, Gina gets the green light for Harvard.
In her application, she makes the claim that she's an orphan.
A teen orphan living on her own, achieving a place at Harvard, makes the newspapers.
Somebody sends Harvard newspaper clippings of what really happened. Once that happened, everything goes wild. It's an explosion. Well, what do we got here? What do we got on our hands? Harvard reaches a decision to withdraw their offer to let her attend.
Gina was smart enough to get into one of the finest universities in the world, but she wasn't smart enough to be truthful on the application. And that's what ultimately hurt her.
San Diego, California, 1986. There's been a wedding, but for this young couple, no honeymoon.
We could go hiking or maybe check out the zoo.
Slow down, honey. I'll leave in 2 days.
I'm gonna miss you.
For 18-year-old Dina Wild, every moment with new husband, 20-year-old Jay, is precious.
Like, you know, all starry-eyed young couples. Oh, I'm gonna go off and live with him, and it's going to live happily ever after.
But Jay is in the Navy, and their time together will soon end.
He was transitioning out of San Diego to go out at sea.
Dina moved from Kentucky to San Diego to be with her husband, but soon finds herself alone in a new city without family or friends.
I think Dina felt abandoned by him. I think she felt like she was cut adrift. And she's miserable and lonely.
Dina misses her family. But then a chance meeting with 30-year-old Jimmy Coates changes everything.
I wish I had one.
He's real friendly.
Dina was very trusting and looking for anyone who would take an interest in her.
Jimmy and his family feel sorry for the lonely teen. His mother, 50-year-old Virginia, and third husband, Billy Joe McGinnis, open their home to her.
He would do anything for Virginia. And to everyday John Doe out there would just send, she's just a kind woman.
Dina is invited to stay over while her husband's away. She jumps at the chance.
Who's this little darling?
Virginia took on the mothering role, and she won her trust.
That's Cynthia, my daughter.
There is a special place in Virginia's heart for girls.
Didn't know you had a daughter.
I don't anymore. She died.
Her only daughter, Cynthia, is killed in a tragic accident 14 years earlier.
Virginia's 3-year-old daughter ran out to play and she was in the barn and must have got her neck caught in the rope and fell.
That was a horrible accident.
I'm so sorry.
She died hanging by her neck.
It's great to have a girl in the house again.
Virginia treats Dina more like a surrogate daughter than a house guest. April 2nd, 1987. The new friends decide to go on a road trip to an iconic California landmark. The famous tourist attraction, Big Sur.
It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. It looks like prehistoric America. These jagged cliffs that go plummeting virtually straight down to rocks where the ocean roars in.
But that day will change all of their lives.
The area they pulled off, it's a turnout. You have a drop straight down for 800, 900 feet.
It's the perfect backdrop for scenic photos.
Virginia pulls out a camera and starts taking photographs of Dina with BJ at the edge of the cliff.
Come on, big smiles.
The only thing matching Big Sur's beauty is its danger.
That gravel down there is very slippery. It's like walking on marbles. If you get too close to the edge, it goes right out from underneath you and you're gone. When they turned to walk back to the car, she was no longer standing there.
There is no surviving this fall. It's hundreds of feet through brambles and nasty, sharp rocks and trees that wouldn't stop your fall. Dina ends up mangled and dead at the foot of the cliff.
Virginia's surrogate daughter is lost.
Help! Help! Take me alive!
They immediately report it. And she's crying, and they're upset.
Everybody believes it is a tragic accident. Another victim of the treacherous cliffs. Until investigators take a closer look at Virginia.
And that's when it got more dark, more Baroque, almost like a Southern Gothic mystery.
San Diego, 1987. 19-year-old Dina Wild is a Navy wife, alone in a strange city with no friends. Then, 50-year-old Virginia Rearen comes along.
It's great to have a girl in the house again.
Dina was taken under Virginia's wing, and she was living under her roof.
Come on, one more.
Virginia and her husband, Billy Joe, take Dina to see the majestic Big Sur. It ends in tragedy.
Dina went down over the edge.
The slippery cliff tops can easily explain the accident, except for what Virginia does next.
Dina's policies are ready. We'll just get you to sign.
Within a week, Virginia had gone down to claim the $35,000 insurance policy that she had taken out on the deceased.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Virginia's greed is one of the things that sent up red flags that this wasn't an accident, that it was a murder, but she just couldn't stop herself.
Only weeks before the fall, Virginia insures Dina's life. It is too much of a coincidence for Dina's grieving mother.
Thank God for mother's love. She hires an attorney who starts doing his own digging.
Every stone he looks under, it just gets worse. It gets worse and worse and worse, and the portrait that emerges is of a woman who is an utterly ruthless psychopath.
Virginia turns out to be a serial insurance claimant.
She was making her living off of insurance claims. She found the golden goose that laid the eggs. She knew how to manipulate the system.
Rebuild it? Are they kidding?
Arson is a good provider for Virginia and Billy Joe.
What can you do?
A lot.
Among other things, they burn down the family home.
Can't rebuild that.
She was always thinking ahead, always planning something new to make more money.
Police investigate the death of her daughter, Cynthia, in 1972. She, too, is insured, and the case haunts the investigating officer for 20 years.
He says, I've never closed the case in my mind. I closed it officially, but it's always been open. Something was really wrong.
Virginia received a life insurance payout. Who insures a 3-year-old? In this case, a killer.
Virginia is now a prime suspect in Dina's death. Police piece together what really happens on that fateful day at Big Sur. Virginia slips Dina a Mickey.
They found a drug called amitriptyline in her system. Makes you a little woozy and dizzy.
Being lightheaded on the cliff face is dangerous enough. But Dina isn't expecting to walk across jagged rocks. She's wearing high heels.
Must be those shoes you got on.
Based upon the narcotics in her system, the sleeping medication,
Close it together.
did she really know and comprehend where she was at?
Come on, big smiles.
Dina is just an insurance policy, waiting to be cashed in.
Virginia asked BJ to throw Dina off the cliff, but it seems he had trouble doing that. And Virginia had to come in.
You know, there was tragic evidence of struggling and suffering. Her hands were all chewed up. She'd obviously been grabbing on branches and brambles and rocks on her way down.
Dina, as a person, only meant a paycheck to Virginia.
It takes 2 years for police to get enough evidence to charge the couple with murder. Billy Joe doesn't stand trial. He dies behind bars, awaiting his day in court. In 1994, Virginia Rearen is convicted of murder and sentenced to life without parole.
She was a cold-blooded sick lady. Looking her in the eye was not a pleasant experience.
Virginia can't do any more harm. She dies in prison in June 2011. For years, the only importance Virginia gives to anything or anyone is in the form of an insurance payout.
Virginia Rearen was a very dangerous woman because really anyone around her that she saw as a payday, their days were numbered.